Welcome to part 2 of this Football Manager 2019 experiment, where I'm taking a look at a FM19 database that has an English Premier League consisting of 92 clubs. Thanks for all the likes and support on part 1. Quite a few of you were keen for me to do a part 2, and in this part 2 I have holidayed a number of seasons. We're now actually in the year 2038, as you can see here. So it's now the end of the 2037-38 season. I'll just scroll down so you can see where everyone finished. Liverpool won the most recent league title. There's not been any massive surprises. All the current big clubs in England are still the biggest clubs in England. But there's been some interesting stories. There's been some really random stuff that I have managed to find in this 92 club Premier League. You can see the most recent winners. Or the winners since the start of this experiment. We've seen Man City win it a fair few times, Spurs have won it once, Liverpool have won it a few times, Man United 3 times, Chelsea have won it 3 times in a row here. Just as you can see, with Liverpool winning the most recent league title. Arsenal, I think they've only managed to finish 3rd, to be honest. Not really very impressive stuff from them. The records, this is the updated records. So Liverpool have now won the top flight of English football 25 times, which is the most. But Spurs, with the most points in one season, 250 points in one season. Man City have managed to win the most games in one season, 82 wins, which is pretty special. Highest average attendance was Spurs in the 2034-35 season, so they must have expanded their new stadium. Man United managed to score 254 goals in the 24-25 season, and Gateshead conceded 193. Most clean sheets, Alisson in the 2022-23 season. So the average attendance here, so Spurs when they were still at Wembley, of course, 90,000. Oh, that's the highest attendance, sorry. Then it was Man United at Old Trafford for a few years before Spurs' new stadium was expanded, I suppose, here. Highest average attendance, Man United, before transitioning to Spurs. Biggest win. I mean, there's not been any massive wins, which is surprising considering some of the weak opposition in the league now. But perhaps some of the teams have kind of improved. I mean, there's a lot of money involved in this league, and you will have noticed that it is the best league in Europe. If we just take a quick look here at the competition reputation. So the English professional division is top of Europe. See, the FA Cup is top here, but it just doesn't exist. It's not played that I know of. I can't click on it. And none of the teams have been playing in the FA Cup. So I don't know why that is still there. That's just an error, I suppose. Looking at the top reputation teams in Europe, Liverpool, the highest English team. We've got 3 Spanish teams, German, Italy, French team above Liverpool. But there's plenty of English teams on this list. If we look at the finances in England, Chelsea have the biggest turnover. Then Man City, Liverpool, Man United, Spurs, and then Millwall, who are above Arsenal. We've got Doncaster Rovers up there in 9th place. That's pretty random, but yeah, love it. I love the randomness of Football Manager. Coefficients. I mean, what sort of transfers have there been in recent? Yeah, I think I could probably look leading transfers. There we go. So the biggest transfer fee, according to this, was £143 million from PSG to Manchester United. This guy is still playing, 31 years old, now playing for Barcelona, moving for £99 million. But there's been some big transfer fees over the years. This is really random, but pretty amazing. Ireland have managed to win the Euros in 2032. That is brilliant. We've seen Switzerland win it, Italy win it a couple times. England have been runners-up. Even better, Cameroon have just won the World Cup on penalties against Germany in the final. That is fantastic. So the first African winners. We've seen Italy, England, Italy, Germany and Cameroon win it in the most... Scotland and England versus Scotland World Cup final. That is incredible. We can't see it, but England managed to beat Scotland 1-0 in the final of the World Cup. This is the England national team then, so you can see the clubs involved. 4th in the world rankings. Ireland. Where are Ireland? Well, Cameroon are 10th. Scotland 27th. Where are Ireland? Have I missed them? 22nd in the world rankings. These are the managers that England have had. So Gareth Southgate was sacked in 2020. Then Sean Dyche, in charge for almost 8 years. Keith Downing, Jordan Henderson, England manager for 4 years, and then Lee Bowyer most recently. In fact, the managers of the clubs are the most random, interesting thing that I have seen on this experiment. Because of all these teams being in the top flight, I suppose, there's a lot of managers that have been in charge of pretty random teams. We've got Danny Drinkwater in charge of Accrington Stanley at the moment. Aldershot have Oliver Burke. Of course, all these players are they could become managers, I suppose, and the game will just randomly decide that these players become managers, I suppose. But yeah, I just love the fact that there really are some very random managers. I did post on Twitter, Antoine Griezmann was manager of Coventry. I don't know if he still is, we'll see in a second. I'm just going to scroll down through all of them quickly. Diogo Jota, manager of Blackburn Rovers. Jesse Lingard in charge of Blackpool. He's had a really interesting history since retiring. So as a player, he went to Bournemouth, signed for them permanently, but since becoming a manager he's managed Exeter, Wrexham, Oldham, Macclesfield, Colchester and Blackpool. Bolton have Adam Armstrong, Bournemouth Wood in the top flight at the moment. Bournemouth have Kolo Touré in charge. Bradford have Yuri Tielemans. Wow. Oh, I love this. Isco is manager of Brentford. See, this is the best thing about this experiment so far. Just all of the really random managers. Bury have Rio Ferdinand. What? So he's managed a lot of teams. Doncaster, Port Vale, Colchester, Burton, Stoke, Aldershot, Southend, Oxford, Bradford City, MK Dons and Bury. He's still only 59, so he can't have been that successful if he's basically managed a new team every year, unless he's just sort of gradually improving. 38th in the English Professional Division. I suppose that's not too bad with Bury, actually. Cambridge have George Moncur in charge. Cardiff have Danny Alves in charge of Cardiff. He's managed Spurs, Southampton. He's been Brazil manager, and started as Bolton manager. This is just, it's so random. Thomas Tuchel in charge of Chelsea. Chesterfield have Chesney. Coventry. So they don't have Griezmann anymore, but their history, if I heard the caretakers, they've had some serious, players, I suppose. I mean, we've had Wayne Rooney in charge, Patrick Vieira, Scott Parker. Look at the names: Kolo Touré, Griezmann, all the way back. I mean, he only survived 174 days. Lionel Scaloni. Where's Griezmann now? So he's assistant manager at Carlisle. So he's had to drop back to being an assistant manager because he failed as a manager at Coventry. He's also manager of Rochdale. I could look at this for days because it's just brilliant. Trent Alexander-Arnold in charge of Palace. Derby have Lionel Scaloni. Doncaster have Luis Enrique, but they had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at one point, didn't they? At the end of the last part. I mean, I could look at this forever. I won't go down all of them because we'll be here a long time, but we'll just look at the top teams. So Liverpool currently have Conte in charge, and they have had Zidane and Deschamps. They've had some big names since Klopp left. In fact, Klopp became manager again, and Guardiola has managed Liverpool. But Klopp 2 times manager. He's manager of Valencia now. Is Pep still on the game? He's manager of Atletico Madrid. Zidane now manager of Spurs. I think he's managed quite a few teams, Zidane, actually. Look at this. Look at the history of Spurs. There were so many managers. Chelsea, they've had plenty of managers as well. Juan Mata has been in charge of the club. Yeah, so Klopp's been in charge of Chelsea. What's his history been? Wow, that is a long history. So Liverpool, then Man City, Barcelona, Germany, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City again, and then Valencia. 71 years old now. So I don't think this will happen in real life. I think this database has just completely messed with everything. This is Man City's manager history. They've had tons of managers. Quite predictably, I suppose, because these top teams, I mean, it's very competitive, and if they're not winning the league, then I guess they're going to get rid of their manager. But Man United all the way down in 10th this season. Højbjerg in charge of the club. Declan Rice has been manager, only 209 days. He's been in charge of a few teams. Phil Neville has been in charge. Zidane in charge after Mourinho. Arsenal then, they've not had the best of times, have they? They've not had that many managers compared to the other teams. This is the National League then. AFC Fylde have managed to win the most recent league title. Just have a quick look at the past winners, as you can see here. So there's been a few relegations of traditional league teams, but there's not been any massive surprises in this database. I've seen some really quite incredible players as well. Billy McCluskey, Scottish region, 70 goals in 101 games for Scotland, 722 games for Liverpool, 432 goals. I mean, they're going to play a lot of games because they're playing like 90 league games a year, so they're going to rack up all these appearances over time, aren't they? But he's managed to score 45 goals this season. This guy, Portuguese player, has just signed for Barcelona, but was top goal scorer with Man City last season. And Bernard Stamford, who's English, he's not actually been capped, but he was the 3rd top goal scorer playing for Reading this season. Looking at the English national team, I did note, I think it was this guy? Yeah, Leo Roberts has played 1,020 games for Manchester United, and that possibly might just be... Is that league? No, I think that's league and cup games, surely. Or is it just league games? It might just be league games, that, in fact, which is just insane. Spurs' stadium is just called the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I thought it was going to be called New White Hart Lane or something like that. But anyway, they've got the biggest stadium in England. We've then got Old Trafford, London Stadium. Are there any new stadiums? There's surely some new stadiums that have been built, because some of these teams, of course, are in the top flight now. They wouldn't have been in there before, but I don't know. You might spot a new stadium in there. If you see anything, then stick it in the comment section below. What's the smallest stadium these days then in the top flight? It's Fleetwood Stadium, Highbury Stadium, 4,151. Wham Stadium. Is that the actual name of Accrington Stadium? But I think we'll end it there. Thank you for watching part 2 of this experiment. There's been some really random stuff, especially with managers, which I really love. As I've said previously, if you've created a database yourself, or you know of a really interesting random database that I can make a video on, please let me know, and I'll make an experiment using it. But until next time, enjoy Football Manager 2019, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you very soon.